And on this particular property, the big issue was it was priced all at one price. So upstairs, downstairs. And so they always had a problem with the upstairs units. So the upstairs units were always more vacant than the downstairs because seniors didn't like walking upstairs.
Yeah.
So pretty simple. I just increased the downstairs by $75, which made the upstairs a better deal. So I didn't lower rent, which is a mistake a lot of people make. What you do is you price more aggressively the ones that are always full, and then that, imagine, times, call it almost 100 units at $75. So there's all these little things that you can do when you buy something to fine tune and to create value. And then once you create that value, then you go back to the bank. And I think we grew the value from somewhere in the, let's call it the mid nines, into 13, 14 million in just a few years. And then you go back to the bank and you borrow 10 million.
Sure. Yeah.
And then that 10 million pays back all the investors, pays off the old loan. And now I'm in the money, right? Yeah. Now I'm actually participating in the cash flow, and all the investors are out. At that point, the investors aren't physically out. They still own the deal, but their capital's returned. And so I don't owe them anything anymore.
Love that. Now, a lot of people watching this, they're in single family. Many of them have tried to branch over to multifamily to do a deal like this. Over the years, I've seen a lot of them try to make the transition. And I've only seen a couple of them successfully do it. Like one guy I know, Tim Bratz, he did it successfully. He used to be a client of mine years ago, flipping houses in Charleston, South Carolina. Now I think he has like 6,000 doors, not as big as you, but working his way up. Most of the guys, though, that I see try to get into the multifamily space, they'll work for 6 months or a year on one deal.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, their single family business falls apart.
Yeah.
Their cash flowing out, the core cash cow falls apart while they're working on this one deal or two deals. And I've seen over and over again over the years failing. Can you talk a little bit about what makes multifamily better than single family, why you prefer it, number one? And number two, why do you think so many people fail when they try to make that jump from single family over to multifamily?
Well, it's a really good time to talk about this because we just went through this run of all these, the syndicators, right?
Yeah.
That went out and raised a bunch of money and put it in the market at the wrong time. Okay, so why did they do that? They did that because they got the courage to go raise money, but they didn't really understand the macro, the market itself, where things were heading. They didn't see it because they hadn't been there before. Like, I got the heck beat out of me as a young man. So for me, the last few years were time not to buy. So the signs are all there.
Yeah. So
let me just give you a couple. The right way to buy a real estate deal is to put it in a contract, get 30, 45 days, let's say, of due diligence. Everything should be refundable. Do your homework, right? And then if you like everything, you go hard on the money and then you move forward.
Yeah.
That's healthy. So when it starts to get, 15 days, 10 days, 5 days, hard money day one, something's wrong. Okay. So the red flags are all there, but people were buying anyway. So, what was happening, yes, it was more competitive, but what was really happening is that they were chasing price because the interest rate was going down.
Yeah.
And so the cash flow looked great. And the real issue is that from the single family, to answer your question directly, is they don't know the signs. And on single family, it's extremely different. And so there are absolutely positive things that inside of a multifamily deal that I love. And the reason why I like multifamily is because if I get a deal, like I'm working on a deal right now, and we're buying it for 60% of the loan. Okay. Now, that still might not be a good deal.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then you got to layer in all the operations. Then you got to layer in the CapEx. And then you got to layer in, all the things that it may or may not do. And then you got to have contingency, and you got to have all these kind of benchmarks in there of things that maybe we didn't see, right? And this is all before we even step on the building.
Yeah.
So when a lot of that stuff goes away, and you start to see these folks buying at a 4 cap or a 4.5 cap, and they the only way that the deal works is if the cap is lower. That's stupid, right? They just so they got into this. I can raise money from my my Rolodex, and therefore I'm going to get into the market and everything is blue sky, and that was the mistake. And so you can really do extremely well. I actually think that if the single family folks that want to jump over, they should do it now. They should do it when there's blood in the streets, because that's when there's not as much competition. And so it's just like anything, when there's a lot of people trying to buy something, it's not a time to buy.
Right.
And so what you want is that deal. You want the lender to call you. You want the broker to say, I'm working on this big project, and that's how real estate's really done. It's a relationship business. It's a network business. It's a are you going to do what you say business. And so the time to jump over could have been just the wrong time. And if you have to spend a lot of time on it, then it's the wrong deal. So we have an investment committee every week.
Yeah.
It's a 1 hour, and we'll cycle through deals, honestly, 15 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most, and thumbs up, thumbs down. Now I also have people doing underwriting and analysts and all that kind of stuff, so I get it packaged the way I want it, but that's excessive. Like if somebody's looking at a deal that long or trying to find a deal that long, then you either know or you don't know pretty quickly, right? There's either a story or there isn't a story, and if you're having to, if you're having to really figure this out, then you either don't have the experience to see it quickly, or you haven't had the team to help you with that, and you're trying to do it yourself or whatever. There's a zillion problems with that time frame. I can't think of one time I've ever been looking at a deal 6 months in my entire career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ken, if you had to start over and do it in the single family space only and not engage in multifamily, do you think you're a macro perspective guy, big economic guy? Do you think you could achieve your net worth through the single family space?
Oh, yeah. First of all, I love single family. I mean, I cut my teeth there, right? Mm-hmm. And I still actually have some here and there. It's there's a lot. Yes, you take a look at single families. I got a couple friends that are crushing it. They're buying these big properties with houses with and they're putting ADUs on them, and they're house hacking, and they're doing all this cool stuff. They're Airbnb and part of it, So yeah, I love that.